I don't want to be a pie! Over my lifetime, and especially during my childhood, I watched a ton of animated movies, most of which I hold near and dear to my heart. But over the years, I have probably lost a lot of knowledge about a lot of my favorite movies that I had back then. I mean, it's been a long time. I'm an old man now. I'm a geezer. Shut up, I'm not old. But yes, there's a lot of animated films that I have seen and that I love, and I think that it's a good idea to go back to our childhood and see what amazing movies that we have that we haven't necessarily thought about in such a long time. And the topic of today's video has been brought back into my mind because of an announcement made a couple of days ago. Netflix announced that they are now making a Chicken Run 2. That is right, I almost put up before. Y'all would have made fun of me for that, but I didn't do it. I did a 2, okay? Shut up. So yes, Chicken Run 2 is now officially going to be made. I'm super pumped because the original movie is so good and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I love it. It's honestly one of my favorite movies and I genuinely hadn't thought about it for such a long time, and it's kind of a crime. I feel like I should watch this movie every year, or at least every time I eat chicken. So last week we checked out The Wild, which was a really bad movie. But now we're back to a good one, which is, of course, by the name of this video, Chicken Run. So this movie is created by the same people who made Wallace and Gromit, Aardman Animations. And of course, it is stop motion animation, which has always been super fascinating to me. I haven't told many people this, but when I was younger, I actually used to create a few stop motion animations. They were terrible, granted, but you know, I was still really proud of them because stop motion is not easy, and quality stop motion is even more difficult. So every time I see a film produced by this studio, I am just blown away by the amount of amazing detail that goes into each frame of this animation. Which is why I say that this movie is genuinely such a fantastic movie, unlike The Wild. So without further ado, why don't we go and get into Chicken Run? Let's see what all the fuss is about this movie, and let me tell you all the things that I like and go through this movie together. So have you ever been a chicken?
Yes.
In a prison?
Yes.
And you thought to yourself, I need to get out of here because they're gonna kill me and take my eggs?
Yes.
Well, lucky for most human beings, we have not been in that situation. At least I hope not. But Chicken Run is all about that. This is a story all about how these chickens' life got turned upside down, and they're sick and tired of living this life inside of this basically prison. It has watch guards and watchdogs just scanning the place, ensuring that these chickens can't escape. And they don't even get a freaking phone call. What a sad day. But here at the beginning of this movie, we get a montage of many attempts that these chickens have tried to escape this place. And I mean seriously creative. They dig tunnels underground. They use little disguises to try to hide themselves. But every time they get caught and Ginger gets punished. My personal favorite attempt is when they dress up as Mrs. Tweedy, the owner of the farm, and they try to get away with it by stacking all of these chickens together and moving across the field. But Joe, does it work? Nah. And the movie makes it very clear. No chicken has ever escaped from this farm.
Now let that be a lesson to the lot of you. No chicken escapes from Tweedy's farm.
No one. Everyone that's tried has just been put into solitary confinement, and they just have to land there and then they get kicked back into the farm. And Ginger, our main protagonist of this movie, is the mastermind behind many of these plans. They all fail, granted, but she is the one who is really trying to get everyone out of here. Which means that most of the time whenever there is a plan that fails, she ends up taking the fall and has to stay in solitary confinement. Which this chicken thinks means she's on holiday.
Back from holiday?
Shut up, no one's on holiday! I'll kill you! I know how to butcher a chicken! But John, do you really know how to butcher a chicken? No. And that's the whole fear behind it. All of these chickens are scared for their lives every time that they have to come to roll count and the farmers come over and count the eggs. And like I said, if a chicken underperforms, It's a terrifying thing for a chicken. In fact, that might be the really only terrifying thing in their lives that they have to deal with. Chickens freaking have it easy. They don't have to pay property tax. They don't have to pay sales tax. They don't even have to have Amazon Prime in order to get free 2-day delivery. No, they just sit in their chicken coop, gossip, and lay eggs. How hard can that be? I'll lay an egg right now. Everyone quiet, I need to concentrate. See, I laid this egg. Wasn't that hard? I wonder what my family thinks when they watch this video. Yeah, Josh, we saw that you were laying an egg on your YouTube channel. What the heck is wrong with you? But yes, that is the whole idea of this movie, is that these chickens are just, they want out. They want to run. They want to run away from this farm because they don't want to have to live in here any longer. And the longer that they're in here, the closer they are to the chopping block. But yes, the first time that you see Ginger watch one of her friends die, you can tell it hits her hard. Even at that moment, you can see tears in her eyes. And it's something that she's had to deal with for a long time, which is why they're trying to escape. So from the very beginning, less than 11 minutes into the movie, you get a valid reason to understand what these chickens are going through and why they're so scared and want to get out.
We've got to get out of here.
So all throughout their time of trying to escape, they've always tried to go either under the gate or through the gate. But they had never tried going over, which leads these chickens into attempting to fly over the gate. But how on earth can a chicken fly? So at this point, you're probably wondering, I mean, only a couple chickens are getting lost, right? I mean, all they have to do is lay eggs and they'll be fine. But everything would sort of be fine, except for the fact of this next bit. Mrs. Tweety realizes that, hey, we aren't making as much money as we could be from this farm. These eggs are barely giving us any profit. We're probably going to be losing money soon. But then, by the chance of fate, she says to herself, hey, I'm getting tired of making minuscule profits. And thus, this flyer is seen advertising something that could be groundbreaking for them.
Oh, yes. Those chickens are up to something.
One of the best things about Mr. Tweety is that the fact that he knows the chickens are actually up to something. Yeah, he knew from the very beginning. But from this moment, the movie gets us wondering, what could they want with this big machine? Well, we're gonna go in and save that reveal to that point in the movie. So we'll get back to that in a bit. But as you can tell, Mrs. Tweety is definitely the antagonist of this movie. And I gotta say, she's really heartless and comes across as a really good villain because of how, greedy she is. These chickens have feelings, and they want to live, particularly in a big green pasture, where the grass is green and the girls are pretty. Take me home! Epic kazoo time! Alright, you can shut up with your stupid kazoo. We get it. But yes, the next plan that these chickens have in mind is the fact that they're going to be going over the fence and hopefully landing into safety. But whenever they try to actually put that into plan, their little turnip here shows them that might not be a very good idea. But whenever this moment shows the failure that could happen, Ginger starts to give everyone a pep talk, but as soon as she goes outside, she realizes this might be a lot tougher than I think it's gonna be. So she calls out and says, please answer my prayers. And guess what? Her prayers get answered. In a way, by a rooster named Rocky. And he is the suave, charismatic man of this movie. The lady killer, as they would say. So as his grand entrance, he is shown flying through the sky, flapping his wings, and making his way over the fence. But he kind of runs into a problem. He hurts his wing too, so he can't fly for everyone. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. That's an important part of the plot because, hint, hint. So when Ginger realizes that this rooster is named Rocky the Flying Rooster, she comes up with a grand plan. No, not the grand slam from Denny's. Clean your ears out. But a grand plan where he's going to teach all of these kins how to go out there and fly themselves. And by God, they're gonna escape and they're gonna live free. But as a viewer, you start to realize he seems a little bit, not wanting to do it. Nah, he couldn't possibly be a fake. There's no way.
You must have very very good hearing.
But as it turns out, Rocky is from the circus, and when the circus truck pulls up, he is like, listen, I need a place to hide. Please, just let me hide here. They then both agree that, hey, as long as you teach us how to fly, we'll keep you from getting captured by the circus again. So then after making their escape, it is time for Rocky to teach them how to fly.
Right, let's rock and roll.
See, this is easy. Now I'm learning to fly like a real pro. Oh my God, look at me. Look at me.
That's it. Oh
God, I gotta do this too. But oh my God, look at him. Look at this son of a mother. He is not teaching us how to fly. But of course, after this teaching, none of it works. Every single time that these chickens try to fly, they fail and just fall right flat on their very thick thighs. But they keep trying, and soon enough, every single one of them fails. So after a full day of training, all the chickens are just really tired. But then something big comes along. Something that's going to change the entire course of this story. The machine that Mrs. Tweedy ordered earlier is officially here. And we still don't know what it is. We know it's a big machine, but what does it do? Mrs. Tweedy starts to mention that, hey, these chickens aren't going to be needing to lay eggs for us anymore. Then what are they going to be used for? With all these sharp objects, it can't be a good sign. So then flash forward to the next day at roll call. So Babs let Ginger know that, hey, she hasn't laid eggs, so she's probably next on the chopping block. 0 eggs for the week, which isn't a good sign. And as Mrs. Tweedy gets closer and closer to her, she is just so nervous, and you can tell. And as an audience member, you feel really bad because Bab's a really nice character. She's naive, but she's a good character. And the moment of truth arrives. There's another hint to what's going to be happening to the chickens. And with Miss Tweedy not happy with the size of the chickens, she says to double their rations and make them fatter.
Chicken feed! My favorite! Something is wrong here. Can't you see that?
And I believe that Ginger explains it best.
Strange boxes arrive in the barn. Bab stops laying, but they don't take her to the chop. And now they're giving us extra food. Don't you see what's happening? They're fattening us up. They're going to kill us all.
And now the whole mood of the farm is completely down. Everyone is just so sad, and it's a bad situation, and you feel that. Oh my God, I never noticed that joke. Oh my God, that got dark really quick. So to lighten things up, they all decide to have a party and just sort of, be free about things. Don't think too hard about it, and it'll be okay. It looks like a fun party. I mean, I'd go to it. I'm not a chicken. I'd probably actually squish them all. But it's fine. It's fine. It's okay. Well, that's logistics. Also, have you noticed that the entire time that Rocky's been at the farm so far, his arm has been bandaged up? That's because it was hurt earlier in the movie, which is why he couldn't demonstrate to people that he could fly, or that he was, able to fly. So at this point, Ginger says, hey, your arm's perfectly okay now. Now tomorrow you can demonstrate to us that, hey, you can fly.
How about that?
Fantastic!
Rocky doesn't seem too keen on that. And now it's time for us, the audience, to now know what this machine is.
What is it?
It's a pie machine, you idiot. Chickens go in, pies come out.
From what Mrs. Tweedy lets us know, this machine is for making yummy, chicken pot pies. I personally like chicken pot pies, but after watching this movie, I'm like, I feel kind of bad. But I'm still gonna eat you up.
How does it work?
Get me a chicken and I'll show you.
So Mr. Tweedy, having had a run-in with Ginger so many times before, decides that she's the chicken who's gonna get tested this on. Oh my freaking God. Ginger, no! So now Rocky is up to save her. I just want to mention that this entire scene where they're trying to escape the machine is so well done. I mean, seriously, this is some really impressive animation during this part because it's in a confined space and all the details are there just enough to make it look super realistic. I love it. They faced many trials throughout this entire escape plan. Getting stuck in dough, almost getting chopped up, almost burning to death. Like, holy crap, they run the risk of, like, dying, very truly. But probably my favorite moment in this entire scene is when they're inside of the oven with the flames. Throughout this scene, Rocky keeps trying to escape, and there's a moment where it shows an upward down view onto them, and he's fallen into every single pot pie. And that just leveled me. That made me laugh so hard. But yes, after making their grand escape, Ginger heads back to the coop and lets the people know what's been going on. And all of them are so scared to become chicken pot pies. Now the mission to get everyone out has become even more critical. Moist critical. If I plug this joke into the moist meter, it gets a 100%. But yes, after this moment, Ginger and Rocky run into each other on top of the coop.
I just wanted to say, well, I may have been a bit harsh at first. Well, what I really mean is, thank you for saving my life.
Where they have a really nice heart-to-heart, and they get closer than ever before. I never thought that I'd be invested in a chicken love story, but yet here I am. But now Rocky has a choice to make. It's obvious that he doesn't know how to fly, and it's obviously that if he went tomorrow and waited, that no one would be able to trust him anymore because he couldn't fly. And when the morning comes, guess who isn't there anymore? He's left a note on the bed letting them know the truth on what's happening. And yes, he is long gone, completely away, and he's probably not coming back. Now, as an audience, we didn't know how he flew. We didn't know how he kind of got into that area. But then, as Ginger reveals it, he was actually shot out from a cannon. And I gotta give it to the freaking music in this scene. And, well, pretty much the entire movie. But this scene has some really amazing music. And the dramatic way they start out, the rain is just perfect. Like I said, I can't freaking say how good this animation is because it's so freaking good. I mean, this is a 2000 movie and it looks freaking beautiful. But yes, Rocky is gone and he is traveling away. He's left them. He left them all alone. It's a genuinely sad moment and you feel the weight of his choice. But then Ginger gets an idea. After seeing the wings that Fowler has, she thinks, hey, maybe we can fly. We just need a machine. A flying machine. And now the chickens have a plan. They're gonna be building this machine and getting it to fly over the hedge. I almost said over the hedge. Why'd I almost say over the hedge? What's wrong with me? But yes, they're going to be using this machine to fly over the fence into freedom. But yes, the whole montage of them putting this thing together is really fun to watch because they're having to take Mr. Freedy's tools in order to actually put this thing together. So as Rocky is making his way out of town, he runs into a sign for Mrs. Tweedy's pot pies, which convinces him that maybe he needs to make a return. But now we're into the end game because Mrs. Tweedy is saying that they need to get all of the chickens and it's time for all of them to go into the pot pies. But while Mr. Tweedy's on his way to get the chickens, he doesn't realize what he's getting into because now they're putting up a fight. They realize that it's time for them to fight or die. They straight up attack and rope up Mr. Tweedy. And I think it's hilarious how he's in the background while Mrs. Tweedy is just taking inventory of stuff. So who is ready to see the machine? The one that they've been working on in order to get into the air. I mean, what could I say? It's not the best, but hey, at least it's better than American Airlines. It's a chicken-powered plane, and it's time for them to take flight. Adios, amigos. You are gone. But before they're able to take liftoff, Mr. Tweedy ends up escaping his little confinement and stops the plane. You son of... Now, something I will say about this ending is that there is no lack of drama because Mrs. Tweedy comes at Ginger with a freaking axe multiple times. But look who's back, baby. We got Rocky. Could you imagine being a human and seeing a chicken flying on a bike onto your face? That would be weird. So after taking care of Miss Tweety, or at least knocking her out for a little bit, they both put up the ramp, and now it's time to actually see this bird fly.
Ginger, let's go!
Now we see it in the air, and things look good because both Ginger and Rocky are now officially on the plane, and we are good to go. But wait, there's something onto us. We have some turbulence. And it turns out that Mrs. Tweety has grabbed onto the things that Ginger and Rocky both had to use to get onto the plane. And one thing that I will say is that this moment, like this scene here, is one that I vividly remember as a child. I remember every skip and every beat of this scene because it stuck with me and I thought it was freaking amazing. And at this point, it is Ginger versus Mrs. Tweety, with of course a little help from her friends, as she tries to cut the rope in order to get her off of the plane so they can leave. But once they run out of ammo, it looks like Ginger is done for. Farewell, Ginger. We knew you well. Or is she gone? So as she drops off, she actually ends up landing inside of the freaking pot pie maker. She's got freaking Mr. Tweety just walks away. So it blows up and it looks like she is dead. I like how Mr. Tweety just sits out there watching, and then when it comes to the fact that she is alive, he's like,
I told you they was organized.
But yes, now they are flying away to safety. But where shall they land? That is almost as important as the journey. So it turns out that everyone is now in this amazing community, living together and enjoying life, where the grass is certainly much greener than it was at the old farm. And I gotta admit, it's a really satisfying ending because everyone gets exactly what they deserve. All these chickens deserve to get out, and they did. It's a beautiful ending. But yes, everyone, that is Chicken Run. And I gotta give him a round of applause because that was genuinely a very good movie. Every time I watch one of these Wallace and Gromit style movies, I am just blown away with what they're able to put out there because when I tried stop animation, it's hard, okay? All the little figurines that you make end up falling over or breaking, or like the clay ends up like twisting off or something like that, and it sucks. But these people have it down to a science, and I am so excited for Chicken Run 2. Netflix, if you screw this up, I'll hunt you down and I'll kill you. You better not ruin this for me. This is one of my favorite movies from my childhood, so it better be good. But all right, everyone, that is the movie. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm so happy that we were able to go into this movie and check it out and go through and check out what made this movie so great. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you so much for watching this video and going on this journey with me. I hope you liked it. If you did, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button, and feel free to share this video with your friends because I know that everyone's gonna wanna see this Chicken Run 2 movie because I am. I'll be first in line at my couch to watch it. But yes, thank you all again for watching. Hope you enjoyed it and you stay awesome. All right, everyone, time to do some aerobics. You ready for this? Ooh, ah, dab, dab. Was that cringe? Slightly, only a little bit, okay? Only a little.